Hello, hello. Welcome to the Rivalry Recap Show. We talk Drumless Club football all day. All the time. And guys, I missed you last week. Hope you missed me too. I know for a fact John Rass did. Whether the rest of you did, unlikely. But before we get into this week's episode, we're going to do a quick rundown of last week's matchups because I lost last week, so it's a bad look for me not to recap. It looks like I'm a little pussy boy bitch, and I do not want that on my head. So, quick week 11 rundown. The Jefferson Street Jets took down the Steens 106-95. Had the Steens not swapped out their kicker, it would have won. Swapped out a 17-point kicker for a 0-point kicker. Awful stuff. Never asked me to kick a kicker or defense ever again. That's why I just played the Jets defense all year. John has improved his record against Brian to 4-5. The Latin Mooks 111-90 over the Lot Lizards. Ortiz picks up a much-needed win in Week 11 to keep his season alive, to keep his thin playoff hopes still there. Ian drops one, and for the first time this season, Ian Jones did not score 100 points. And Ortiz is now 7-1 against Jones. 7-1? Ortiz over Ian? Wow. Okay, next one. Mike 161 over fucking K-Dot, fucking Eric Olson, 124. Whopson, 124, not bad from Olson, but 161 was way too much. Weston improves his record to Olson, now 3-3 apiece. Spencer 110, another guy who was keeping his season alive last week, taking down John Rass, the juggernaut, the powerhouse. 78 points from that fucking loser. Are you kidding me? So 110-78, Spencer takes the win and he improves the record against Rass to 2-3. Charlie, Amon, 123-83, takes down Club Sundays, taking down Joey, 4-4 in that matchup historically now. Next one, we got 2 Boston Bowls to end it. I didn't even realize Week 11 was 2 Boston Bowls. Are you kidding me? We got the Bug. 160. That team is a force. That team is a train that's not stopping. 160 to Christian's 77. Oof, Christian, you paying out the long 20 to Spencer Sklar from Week 11. We'll get into Week 12 in a moment. Historically 4-4, Tony and Christian. Last one of Week 11, Kevin Lamb takes down the ever sad Matt Lynch, 114-83. This guy can't buy a win. Lynch has definitely put up more than 114 in certain weeks, but this week his team decides to throw up 83. Kevin Lamb takes the win there. Kevin Lamb is now 3-5 against Lynch. So that was a matchup Lynch historically won. So as I said, Christian pays Sklar for the long 20 from Week 11 for Brandon Ayuk's 76-yard touchdown, I believe. We get into Week 12, and where do we start? The long 20. Guess who loses it? Christian Borelli, paying Ian Jones for a Josh Jacobs 63-yard touchdown. And if I'm not mistaken, in these 12 weeks, Christian has paid out 4 long 20s. Lynch has paid out 4 long 20s. These guys are in the hole. Hopefully they can make it up some other way. That's an extra $80 down the tubes. So now that we did that, we're getting into the Week 12 matchups. And where do we start? My matchup. And this is one I'm more happy to present to you than Week 11's fucking shithouse against Sedano. But I played Christian Borelli this week, and Christian only put up 83 points, and the Steens put up a whopping 165. Feels good, feels cool. Kyron Williams, don't even care that man. At the beginning of the season, everyone's like, oh, Kyron, blah, 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 blah. They're calling him Kyron last week, so I'm going to roll with that. I don't even know my fucking best player's name. Maybe he's not my best, but he's one of them. 38 points. Wow. Other side, Christian, newly acquired Tua. I was pretty shocked when I saw I was versing Tua again. I was like, is my app glitching? What's going on? Because half the time it shows me the wrong fucking guys. But, yeah. I saw an article today that Josh Dobbs they're considering benching him. I don't think that's actually going to happen, but what a fuckery that would be for Rass after trading away Tua for Dallas Goedert. Kidding me? Anyway, I'll get to Rass in a little bit, but picking up Freiermuth was clearly a great fucking choice, but I don't know if you needed to trade for Goddard. But you had 2 quarterbacks who were good, and you thought you had it all, right? But 165 for the Steens. The Steens have officially clinched the playoffs. Cheers, fellas. You'll see a video from me come playoff time one way or another, whether I'm picking or whether I'm being picked. These last 2 weeks shall tell that story. Christian Borelli at 4-8. Not eliminated yet. Likely eliminated. We can get into the scenarios a little bit at the end, but I didn't really prep for that a whole bit, but we'll take a look at the standings together and get there. I have improved my record against Christian to 6-3. Next one, Ian versus Weston, an all-time classic. I don't know what this bowl has a name or not, but Ian takes down Weston 149 to 127. Ian's been juggling quarterbacks, trying to figure out who's going to be his new guy after losing Kirk Cousins and Anthony Richardson for the season. Got Jordan Love putting in 26 points. Christian McCaffrey throwing up 30 points. Jacobs 22.5 with that 63-yard long 20 touchdown. 149. Weston, other side, 127. Great fucking week, Mike. But it just wasn't enough to beat Ian. Evans and Smith having nice weeks. It continues the streak. If Smith is above 10 points, Weston is above 100. Saquon, pretty underwhelming. Herbert, meh. But 127 is pretty nice, Mike. And Mike's had 5 straight weeks above the Mendoza line, including, I think, four of the last 5 have been like above 125 points. So this is a hot team. This is a team to watch going into the playoffs, as that final playoff spot is likely going to be, or final 2 playoff spots at this stage is likely going to be fought out between Mike, Charlie, and Joe. So 2 of those 3 guys. Sorry, Ortiz, I'm not considering you. That would just be foolish. But I feel like I'm like Joe now. I'm like fucking coming in and out, fucking emphasizing my words. So I'll stop that. But anyway, Ian improves his record against Mike to 5-2, and we move to the next matchup. We got John Rast. We playing an Apple ad on me? Can't be doing that. The Lone Sharks win against the Latin Mooks, 121 to 106. 106, pretty from Ortiz. Kid continually cannot get the starting lineup right. I still will not fathom why Jerry Jeudy's ever even being fucking considered, but I tried to total it up, and even if Ortiz started the ideal lineup, he still would have just lost to John Rast's lineup. So, Rast, dude, we're in the 1 o'clock window, like, you know, the Jets aren't playing, the Ravens aren't playing. I had no fantasy players in the 1 o'clock window. Wild. When I saw that, I was like pretty fucking stunned. But all I'm hearing is fucking Derrick Henry touchdowns, Jonathan Taylor touchdowns, Bijan Robinson touchdowns. It's fucking Rast. And, you know, I had to feel good. For the guy because he was on a little bit of a skid. Well, we mentioned he had a 79-point week last week, but he's back. 121 is quality. He's got the stars going. Now just this quarterback thing. Maybe moving on from Tua wasn't the right move, John. I don't know. Definitely keeps the door open. But with that being said, the Rast Ortiz Bowl is now 3-2-3. Next matchup, we got Sedano fucking clamping another one against fucking Olsen, 105 to 96, almost an identical scoreline of what he beat me last week. I think it was like 104 to 94 or something like that, or 105, whatever it was. But John's 9-3 in third place. John has clinched the playoffs. Cheers to you. On the other side of that, Eric Olsen, you are officially eliminated from playoff contention. I would pour one out, but I have too much respect for my house, not you, Eric. I'll tell you that fucking much. Eric Olsen, 96 points, eliminated from the playoffs. And that one, Johnny is 6-2 historically against Eric. I don't even have anything to say about your guys' players other than the fact that Trevor Lawrence, after my slander, has put up his 2 best weeks of the season, 32 points last week, 24 points this week, hadn't put up an over 20-point game. So that's the only thing I think I'll highlight from this matchup because the rest of it's just some mid-fucking garbage. Next one, we got Amon versus Sklar. Amon amongst boys. Charles playing Spencer, the young Esquires, a Jets Bowl. A beautiful little Jets Bowl, 115 to 98. Charlie takes the win. And Charlie's got to feel good because, as I mentioned, he's very much in the thick of it, in the hunt with Weston and Joe battling out those last 2 spots. You could even throw Rast in the ringer, and we'll get to that in a bit. But Spencer, 4-8. You're in the same boat as Borelli. We're calling it likely eliminated, mainly because you will have to win your next 2 matchups. You will need multiple people to lose their next 2 matchups, and your points for is just not likely going to win any tiebreakers. So Spencer and Christian are kind of in that boat of likely eliminated, but listen, crazier things have happened. Talk to Mike West in 2020. So yeah, let's get a little bit about this matchup. Charlie, I mean, his two studs, Stephon Diggs, Amon-Ra St. Brown, continue to perform 19 apiece. Jacoby Myers, 20, Laporta, 17. Running backs, I mean, I know Charlie's not thrilled about Madison as his RB2. Would love to have made a deal. He would have loved to make a deal. He was reaching out to me because I got a lot of running backs, but just nothing really came to fruition. I wanted the big guns too much. I wanted Amon-Ra. I wanted Stephon Diggs. And from his point of view, that's probably so frustrating and stupid. Like, why would he trade one of those two guys just to secure RB2? But I don't know. It wasn't really anyone else I even really considered. But Spencer on the other side, a guy who's really looking for an RB2, was willing to trade Kenneth Walker, wanted to move him before the deadline. I don't know what kind of offers he got. I kind of wish I made an offer, but at the same time, I don't think he would have accepted my offer. So I don't know. And what would I do with Kenneth Walker? I don't know, because that's what I have running backs. I need wide receivers potentially, but trade deadline has come and go, so no more deals will be made. Charlie takes a nice win over Sklar. Charlie is now 4-4. 4-4, pulling it back against Spencer Sklar. Club Sundays against Pay Dirt FFC. 0-12, man. It just like, Lynch will tell you. It's harder to go 0-12 than it is to go 12-0 or something like that. Or maybe that's not the exact quote, but he's had some zingers, we'll call them, for this 0 for record. Yeah, anyway, Joe put up 131 points. Joe's in 9th place. He's 6-6. He's right there. Great performance from CJ Stroud. Continues to be incredible. I think CJ Stroud's like QB5 on the season. Raheem Mostert still putting up good numbers. Everyone's like, oh, is Mostert going to fall off? Where's Achane? That's a great question. Where's Achane? Don't know. But Mostert continues to do great instead. Deebo Samuel appears to finally be healthy, putting up 22 points. Olave putting up 18, but did he get concussed? We'll see. Cooper Kupp, 4.8. Puka Nacua on the other side, 6.7. These two guys executed a trade. I'm not really sure it's worked out for either of them. Cooper Kupp's been kind of a dud, except for maybe 2 weeks this season. But anyway, Joe puts up 131 and looks good going into the final stretch, hoping he can secure himself a playoff spot. And Lynch is just looking at week 15 to try and win that matchup and not have to fucking run another BR mile ever again in his life, because he doesn't seem like someone who wants to do that. Last matchup of the week. The matchup of the week. It never got highlighted because there was no video last week. There wasn't a lot of chatter. But this was the clear matchup of the week. Tony versus Kevin. Two absolute fucking Goliath versus Goliath. You know what I mean? 154 to 119. Sorry, Joe, you're now 6-2 against Lynch. Let's get back into the bug. 154. Guys, I mean, it's like Tony drafted his team with one theme and one theme only. And that is explosive. Kamara, Jahmyr Gibbs, Tyreek Hill, Tank Dell, Zay Flowers, even DJ Moore, explosive, fast, fun to watch players, and it's just turned into a phenomenal fantasy team. You know what I mean? The bug, you know what bug he hasn't gotten? The fucking injury bug. This has been a healthy team that has just performed pretty much week in, week out. He's the only team that still has the chance at keeping the 100-point streak alive. Tony, you have clinched the playoffs. Congratulations, my friend. Cheers to that. Kevin Lamb, even with the loss, you effectively kind of clinched. You're kind of in that same boat as those 4 and 8 guys. You have a nice points for, but you're the opposite end of those 4 and 8 guys, obviously. But no, nothing's set in stone, right? Did I tell Ian that he clinched the playoffs? Is Ian 9-3 or 8-4? Ian might only be 8-4. Ian's only 8-4. So Ian's in the same boat as Kevin Lamb. 2 guys that have good points for. If the tiebreakers come down, I would be shocked if they didn't make it. But we don't want to say anything's all said and done yet, right? All right, let's take a quick look at the standings before I send it over to my compadre, Joe, who we haven't heard from in a couple weeks. Shout out Tony for an excellent episode a couple weeks ago. Really enjoyed it. But I'll be happy to send it over to Joe in a moment. As I said, the 3 9-win teams have clinched the playoffs. Eric Olson and Lynch has been eliminated for weeks. I didn't think I even needed to say that, but Eric Olson and Lynch are officially eliminated. Christian and Sklar are hanging on by a fucking thread, but they're likely / effectively eliminated. Ortiz can certainly make it. He would need to win out, and he needs some help. He would certainly need some help. He does not have the tiebreaker on points against Joe, Charlie, or Mike. So really need them all to, 2 of the 3 of them to lose out. And Ortiz sneaks in at 7-7. And then Joe, Charlie, and Mike. Mike's in the best position with the tiebreaker, but obviously win 2, you're in, right? But at the very least, winning 1 and getting some help, right? But we very well may see another 7-win team not make the playoffs this year for the 3rd time in Gentlemen's Club history, Mike. I didn't forget about you. It happened to Mike. It happened to Lynch. With that, guys, I don't have much more to say. There's so many variables, especially with we don't know who the fuck we're playing in week 14. Find out next week. Please tune in. But with that, I will send it over to Joe. It's the holiday season. You can't see I'm in a fucking winter wonderland over here. And I hope everyone has a great night. I hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving. And with that, I'll send it over to Mr. Narduli at Safe Space. Thank you.
Snack on some croutons. I'm snacking on some croutons. Gentlemen, welcome back to Safe Space. It is Wednesday, November 29th. You go into Thanksgiving and you come out and you're like, holy shit, the fantasy football season's about to be over. Let's get to some Safe Space. We're starting out with Narduli notes. I think it's been 3 weeks since my last episode. Narduli note number 1 reads Mike Greenberg. Mike Greenberg, can't stand him. Cannot stand him. I can't stand him on Get Up. I can't stand him on NBA Countdown. I can't stand him on Twitter. I can't stand Mike Greenberg's wife on Twitter that just posts pictures of him like watching the Jets. It is so cringeworthy. I forget why I was even watching Get Up, but like on the Get Up set, they have a fucking Aaron Rodgers jersey framed, hanging up, because like fucking Mike Greenberg wants it there. He's played 8 snaps for you, bro. And they also have a purple Mike Greenberg #1 football jersey. What a fucking joke that guy is. I cannot believe he's one of the faces of ESPN. That station has been going down for years now. Narduli note number 2, the Peyton and Eli broadcast on ESPN. We're changing course here. So everyone knows I used to fucking hate the ESPN Monday Night Football broadcast crew. That was Steve Levy. That was Louis Riddick. That was Dan Orlovsky. I could not fucking stand them. They bring in Buck. They bring in Aikman. 2 of the best of all time, if not the best of all time. It's been great. A consequence of that is I haven't watched the Peyton and Eli broadcast all year. A couple weeks ago, I turned it on and it's delightful. It's a very good watch. Like if the game's not entertaining at all, like they break down interesting things, they have good guests, and they're pretty entertaining. The Peyton and Eli broadcast, +1, thumbs up. Narduli note number 3. This reads mustache beanie. I've been thinking about going with the mustache beanie look. TBD. Narduli note number 4 reads Tony M. Tony M. Anthony Marullo hosted Safe Space last episode. I watched. What are my thoughts? I thought it was good. I thought he did a good job. Did I think he did a great job? No, I thought he did a good job. Did he make me laugh a couple times? Yes, he did. He did. I appreciated that he seemed to recognize that it's not easy to sit in this chair. It's not easy to do this job. It's not easy when you have to fucking deal with people like Spencer Sklar, who has zero creativity in his responses, and you get record response, and you go, I have to fucking deal with this and turn it into content. It's not easy typing the responses. It's not easy having a compact program. But he made me laugh a couple times. He did. I thought he did a good job. Great job? No. Not everyone can do a great job. Good job. Narduli note number 5. This is the second to last one. Joe Douglas. Listen, I see these Jets fans in this WhatsApp. They complain about Zach Wilson. They complain about Tim Boyle. They complain about Robert Saleh. I have not seen the criticism that is deserved for Joe Douglas. Let's go through his offseason because I think it's the worst of all time. Ton of cap space. He spends it on McCole Hardman, off the team. Randall Cobb, inactive. Alan Lazard, inactive. Dalvin Cook, horrible. Trades for Rodgers. They had a horrible offensive line last year. You think maybe spend some of that money on some supplements for the offensive line? Have you heard a peep about the draft class? Have you heard a peep about the draft class? Busts. Busts. And they bring in Rodgers, and what does Douglas do? He bends the knee to him all year, hires Hackett, horrible coordinator, doesn't trade for a backup or sign a good backup. Joe Douglas, yes. Did he have a good first round in 2022? Yes. Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, Jermaine Johnson, Sauce Gardner, great first round. Outside of that, the free agency, the trades, the Zach Wilson pick, he's horrible. How many more months are we going to have the Jets fans giving him a pass? Narduli note number 6. We are on 6 minutes. This reads Summertime Sadness. It came on at the gym today, the remix one. I don't say this lightly. I think it's one of the greatest songs of our lifetime. When Lana comes in with that beat building, give it a listen. First segment we do on this program is called Best Team, Worst Team. We have a best team, and it's a new best team, I believe, from when I've been doing this. It's Anthony Marula. It seems like overnight I go to Mexico, and this is John Rast's world that we're living in, and I come back, and now it's Anthony Marula's world. John Rast didn't even get a vote. Anthony's got a good team. He built it from scratch, a great draft. I call Tyreek Hill the best pick of the draft. Alvin Kamara bought low. That's been paying off. Jahmyr Gibbs, it takes these rookies some time. Tank Dell, great pick. Dalton Schultz, DJ Moore, etc. He's got a good team. It's a deep team. Did I think he was puffing his pecker a little last week when he was like, who do you guys think is going to win the championship? Oh, another vote for Anthony. Oh, another vote for Anthony. Oh, another vote for Anthony. He's not used to this position. Do I think he has the managerial skills to get to that title game? To win that title game? I don't. Worst team, Matt Lynch. Do I have anything to say about that? No. Besides, if he goes 0-14 and loses the toilet bowl, I think he should get a fucking tattoo or something. Matchup of the week. Matchup of the week. Everyone's favorite segments. Club Sundays. Must win for Club Sundays versus team You Got the Bug. Not matchup of the week. I'm 0-2 in my matchups of the week, so my team doesn't like that spotlight with Kirk Cousins. The Lot Lizards versus the Loan Sharks. Potentially. I think Ian and John Rast kind of look similar. Does anyone agree to that? If you were to pick, this is a good question for the group, 2 people in the league that you think look the most similar. Is it Ian or John Rast? Is it Kevin Lamb and James Ortiz? Jefferson Street Jets, Tokyo Knights, Battle of Hoboken. Not the battle of the matchup of the week, though. Amon Ra Boys, the Latin Mooks. You will not be seeing the Latin Mooks in my matchup of the week. Yak United K-Dot. That's a horrible matchup. An even more horrible matchup, Pater FFC versus the Young Esquires. That's horrible. That's like the Giants-Pats game last week. We got the matchup of the week. This is an obvious one. You got the Kevin Lammers, Brian's Ryan versus Brian. The Steams. I've been on this program saying that I don't think Marsh's team is good, but he's 9-3, and Dak has been really, really good lately, and he has the Dak seat stack, which has been killing it. He got Kyron Williams back, Pacheco, Cortland Sutton is good, I guess. The Denver Broncos are good, I guess. George Kittle, Chuba Hubbard, flex, but he's got some good guys on the bench. And Kevin's, I think, has a really good team too. Matchup of the week. Yeah, this is it. All right, let's do the segments. This week's poll segment was the trade deadline just passed last Friday. One quick note, it feels a little late. Like we do the trade deadline 3 weeks before the season ends. What were your thoughts on trades this year? People that you negotiated with, trade you wish you should have done. We got a ton of responses to this. Really good responses from the group. We got so many that I didn't even bother like reorganizing them, so we're just gonna read through them raw. We're doing it raw. Response 1, I saved myself the hassle of trying to trade with Ortiz this year, so negotiations were pretty amicable all around. A lot of interest in my wide receivers to be expected, but I didn't really receive any laughable offers. Listen, we're gonna hear James Ortiz's name a couple times in this segment. I've talked about this in the past, and I would at this point just like to hear from James Ortiz on like his stubbornness, his refusal, his anxiety, his fear of trading, because it would be one thing if he doesn't trade and he's been posting winning season after winning season. Marsh, I would love to know James Ortiz's career record in this league. I like James Ortiz. No respect for him as a fantasy football manager. Next one. I still think Rass' all or nothing trade at the start of the season was awesome. Just a bummer Burrow got hurt and limits Jamar upside for him. I wish I got a deal done for RB, but honestly, all running backs besides CMC suck. And I'm not mad I didn't trade Diggs or Amon-Ra for a mid-douchebag, as our commissioner puts it. That clearly came from Charlie. Yeah, I mean, Rass, I like how Rass manages his team. He manages it aggressively. He went for it. He's been making trades, and he's in the mix. He might not make the playoffs because... he'll probably make the playoffs because of points, but the Jonathan Taylor injury, and he doesn't have a quarterback now. I like how Rass manages his team in general, but he makes like some idiot moves. His only active quarterback this week was Matt Stafford, who he picked up, and he drops him for Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers isn't playing this week, Rass. You have no quarterback. In general, some people have resigned to never make a real deal. Others are always ready, which makes for a lopsided trade market with half the league trading and negotiating with each other while the other half is on the sideline. Come in, boys, the water is warm. Listen, I know I send out a lot of trade offers. I've talked to all of you. I've talked to all of you about trades. There's a list of 4 people. There are a list of 4 people in this league that are, part of my language, fucking miserable to deal with. I don't want to name names, but there's a list of 4. Everyone else is okay. Some are better than others, but the list of 4 is, I don't want to name names. Best trade was Kupp for B-Rod and Hopkins. This deal turned out good for both sides. B-Rod is a top back and Hopkins is a good flex. Kupp turned into Derrick Henry. Listen, like, you're playing the revisionist history with this deal, and sure, or Kupp didn't turn out to be amazing. I'm fucking dealing with that now. He gets 6 points a week. Are you kidding me, Cooper Kupp? Are you kidding me? And yeah, Robinson's been a good back, and Hopkins is startable. This is still a bad trade for James Ortiz because at the time Ortiz traded him, he could have gotten more because he didn't shop his first round pick to anyone in the league. He just traded him to John Rass. Or if he just waited 4 weeks and traded him right before Cooper Kupp was active, he would have got the best bang for your buck. Fellas, sell high, buy low. Simple macroeconomics. Worst trade. I almost abstained from this as part of the reason some people don't trade is the fear of mockery in this very program. Yes, that is true. That is true. I know some of you don't want to trade with me because of this program, because of some of the deals I've done in the past, and that's embarrassing for you. That being said, Algier for Gainwell is the worst trade. Algier is at least an emergency back, while Gainwell has no business being in the Eagles lineup, and especially in a fantasy football lineup. That's one of the worst submissions I've ever fucking seen. Algier and Gainwell are just both handcuffs. That wasn't the worst trade this year. Worst by far for me this year was trading Ramondre for Pierce and Goddard. 10 minutes after making the trade, Pierce pops up on the injury report with a bum ankle and keeps him out for 3 weeks. Finally comes back and loses the starting job to Devin Singletary, then posts 2 points. Goddard snapped his arm a week later, or the same week of the trade, shaking my head. Christian had some momentum, made this trade. It turned out horribly for him. Made me personally feel inside because Christian and I had some contentious negotiations at that point. He went the other way and it turned out bad. Have not gotten the apology. Have not gotten you don't get the I was wrong text often in trade negotiations. Spencer offers me last week fucking Ken Walker, who might not play this season, for Raheem Mostert. And he's telling me that's a fair deal. There's 4 people in this league. I'm not going to name names, but I'm always amazed at everyone's ability to recall trades throughout the season. This is a shocking sentence. Like, do you have a memory to recall anything? The only one I remember is Ras Ortiz, and even though I was shitting on it, it wasn't really that big of a deal at all. I thought it was funny how when I finally had a good team, I got the least amount of trade requests in a year. Miss talking to some guys. I mean, that's not funny. That's logic. People make trade offers to people that they realize have holes in their team that they could help with. If you have a great team, you're not going to get offers because people don't think they could help your team with a deal. The logic is just missing in this fucking group chat. Let me tell you that. I'm happy with my trades with Christian and Marsh. Both were pleasant experiences, and I think it worked out well for my team. I think it helped Christian too, but he's too far gone. Marsh got H-hand from me. It doesn't look like the risk will be worth the reward for him. But Amari Cooper got hurt this week, and it could fuck me. That just seems like Johnny rattled some thoughts there. Appreciate the response, though. Love that Pirelli went for it and threw out the roster and got a new one. Still didn't work out, but I like the attempt. Other hand, Lynch was a little too late. Made trades, but held the #1 waiver priority for way too long. Only to use it on Kaimi Fairbairn in week 6. When the rest of the league was improving their squad. I guess my problem with him was more the lack of waivers than trades, but his trades haven't done much for him either. Yeah, Lynch did not want to trade Devontae or Derrick Henry for a very long time. This waiver point is very interesting. I didn't realize that. Some people in this league are also terrified to put in a waiver claim. Mr. Rass splash deals left and he splashes deal right to make his super team. It's obviously still a strong team, but we see how it works out. I'd say I'm rooting for him at this stage of the season. I'm rooting for no one else but the Steens. I said this at the beginning of the year. The super team thing works, but the biggest risk, especially when you do it early in the season, is you lose your depth and you make yourself very susceptible for injuries. Now Rass is going through that. So, you risk it for the biscuit. Every year, Mr. Joe Club Sundays Narduli, it's laughable how my last name was just spelled in the submission, sends me 20 different variations of trades, and there is one in there that was a true regret. There's always one in there that was a true regret. Haven't sifted through them all this year, but I bet there is one there I should have taken. Have no regrets, though. Okay. What do you want me to say to that? Lots of trades this year. Feels like there isn't one trade that stands out as a big win or a big loss for anyone. Rass definitely takes a first prize for most trades in the season, but I'd say Sedano and Lamb both made smart trades that have gotten a little under the radar and helped them out. I do like the trades that Kevin made, getting Kelsey and getting Lamar previously, which made him get Kelsey. Feel like I'm going to get a shout out from Joe about how hard it is to talk trades and that he doesn't respect me as a fantasy football manager. That's fine. To be fair, he has made an occasional good offer, but I can't get myself to trade with him. Feels so wrong and gross. Anyway, it's not you, it's me. There's a list of 4. I actually went back through all the trades to see if there were any worse than Ortiz's cup trade, but that was actually the worst one. We covered that. There were a lot of good trades this year, a lot of deals getting done. This felt like one of the more active trade years in quantity, but there was a lot of smaller swaps which were common this year, like Geno Smith, Zeke, Kupp, Algier, Lamar, Ramondre, and James Conner were all traded multiple times. Good research in that offer. Best people to negotiate. Listen, I know Joe gets hate for trying to finagle a deal that's favorable to him, but when I talk to Joe, we usually get to a quick yes or no, and he actually wants to do deals. I think nearly everyone in the loser bracket, except Ortiz, also made a real effort to try to trade their way into a better position. To actually respond candidly to the feedback about me, what I get really frustrated with is when people just, one, don't respond, and two, have no conviction in their response and say, I need to sleep on it, I'm not sure, let me get back to you. Like that, I'm never gonna offer you the perfect deal that we both agree on because I don't know how you value my players. Ideally, it's a conversation, a quick back and forth, and it's a yes or no if you have conviction of yes or no you want to do it. But some people in this league just, for some reason, can't make decisions. Worst people to trade with. There are a few people who are difficult to trade with because of how they structure deals. They're that's only a clear win to them. This, doesn't make any sense to me when people offer a trade and you're like, why would I do that trade? Can you explain to me in a sentence why I would trade Raheem Mostert when I need to win the next 3 weeks for a running back that's not going to play? Why? Give me a response. However, I think the toughest people to deal with are the ones that are on the fence, they're the fence sitters. Excuse me. The maybe I will, maybe I won't people. Marsh is the top perpetrator of the fence sitting. This is the point I made. The people that don't have any conviction in what they want to do. I said there's 4 people. I don't know if we're going to get it. We have only one more response here. Only deal I wish I had done was trying to get Eckler, but I couldn't get him from Johnny. The last person was Ian. How do we end this program typically? With some safe space submissions. Eric Olson returns to being a cellar dweller this season. John Rast, August 2023, in the Safe Space Bold Prediction segment. Check mark. Yeah, Eric. Honestly, Eric, you've had, I think, 3 of your last 5 seasons have been really bad. Maybe 4 of the last 5, but you got 2 championships. I'd rather be you than me. My bold prediction was I didn't think I was going to have a good season, and I'm not having a good season for my standards. Koopa Doopa, my name's Jonah Dooley, Shmoo Daka Doo Doo Doo. My narrative at the beginning of the season was a team full of rookies, and I really loved how they all shaped out. I mean, the reason I'm not having a great season is not the picks of my rookies. The first round was a shit show. Sure, I could have picked Diggs over Bijan, but Bijan I don't think was a bad pick. The reason my fucking team is not doing well was my 3rd, 4th, and 5th round picks, which were T. Higgins, Justin Fields, and then Darren Waller. Miss. There you go. 6 and 6. Another thing that has been on my mind is who is a clear-cut weakest team in the playoffs as rankings stand today. It's going to be a tough choosing opponent. This has been a theme all year. I don't think 1 to 8 is as far as it has been in the past. I think all the teams that are going to make the playoffs are going to have a shot. Kevin Lamb next week, ? Guy can kick rocks and suck Ortiz's asshole. Just when I think I'm going to get through an episode without saying something I'll regret will be in the internet. Shout out Marulo for a great episode in your absence. Good episode. Was it great? Love that you acknowledge it ain't easy getting in front of the camera. I also appreciate that. Always a great guy to see on TV. 2 more submissions. Go Birds. And last one. Miss the boys. Need a group send. Maybe. That was the episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Next week will be the last episode of the season, I believe. Have a great Wednesday. Godspeed.